For a fraction of a second, something in the ocean gets hotter than the surface of the sun. It happens millions of times a day. The creature responsible is smaller than your thumb. The pistol shrimp. It weighs less than a paperclip. It lives in the shallows of tropical seas, tucked into coral rubble and sandy burrows. By every measure of appearance, it is unremarkable. A pale, translucent body. 2 antennae. 8 legs. And one claw that is grotesquely, almost comically oversized, a single appendage that can account for nearly half its body mass. That claw is one of the most extraordinary weapons in nature. To understand what it does, you have to slow time down considerably. The shrimp cocks its enlarged claw open, like a spring being wound. Then it snaps it shut. Not slowly. Not quickly. In 300 microseconds, roughly 500 times faster than the blink of a human eye. The closing claw does not touch the prey directly. It does not need to. What it does instead is far stranger. As the two halves of the claw slam together, water is forced out of the gap between them at extraordinary velocity. The water jet moves so fast that the pressure behind it drops to nearly zero, a near vacuum in the open ocean. Bubbles form. Not ordinary bubbles. These are cavitation bubbles, pockets of near-nothingness surrounded by crushing seawater. For a fraction of a millisecond, they exist. Then the surrounding water collapses inward and destroys them. That collapse releases energy. Enormous energy, concentrated into a point barely larger than a grain of sand. For a period measured in nanoseconds, the interior of that collapsing bubble reaches a temperature between 4,000 and 8,000 Kelvin. The surface of the sun sits at around 5,700 Kelvin. In that vanishing instant, the pistol shrimp briefly creates a point of heat that rivals, and in some measurements exceeds, a star. The bubble also emits a tiny flash of light, so fleeting that no human eye could ever perceive it unaided. The phenomenon is called sonoluminescence. It remains one of the least understood events in physics. And a small crustacean in a coral reef triggers it dozens of times a day while hunting for food. The shockwave that radiates outward from the collapsing bubble is what does the killing. It travels through the water at speed, and when it strikes a small fish or invertebrate nearby, the pressure surge is enough to stun it, or kill it outright. The prey does not see what hit it. Nothing did, in any conventional sense. The shrimp fired physics. The snap itself registers at around 218 decibels. A rifle shot, for comparison, produces roughly 160. The pistol shrimp is, by acoustic measure, one of the loudest animals on the planet. In aggregate, colonies of these creatures are loud enough to confuse the sonar of submarines. During the Second World War, Allied naval commanders discovered that enemy submarines could hide their acoustic signatures beneath the crackling din of pistol shrimp colonies along the seafloor. The ocean, it turned out, had its own static, and these animals were generating it. The shrimp is not mindless in its violence. It is a careful, methodical hunter. It digs burrows, excavating tunnels in the sand or sediment that can extend 30 centimeters down. These are not just refuges. They are fortresses, nurseries, and pantries. The shrimp maintains them with precise attention, clearing debris, reinforcing walls, carrying food inside to consume in safety. It is industrious in a way that feels almost architectural. Many species share their burrow with another animal entirely, a small fish called a goby. The arrangement is one of the more elegant symbioses in shallow marine ecosystems. The shrimp, for all its weaponry, is nearly blind. The goby has excellent vision but no home. So the shrimp digs and maintains the burrow while the goby stands guard at the entrance, watching for predators. The shrimp keeps one antenna in constant contact with the goby's body. When the goby flicks its tail, a warning signal, the shrimp freezes, or retreats underground. When the coast is clear, the goby signals that too. Neither animal would thrive as well alone. The arrangement persists across hundreds of species pairings, in reef systems across the Indo-Pacific, the Caribbean, the Red Sea. There is something else about the claw worth knowing. If a pistol shrimp loses its snapping claw, to a predator, to a territorial dispute, the remaining claw undergoes a remarkable transformation. Over successive molts, the surviving smaller claw begins to grow. It enlarges. Its internal structure changes. It becomes the new snapper. The original socket where the lost claw was attached then regenerates a new, smaller claw in its place. The shrimp has, in effect, switched dominant hands, and rebuilt its primary weapon from scratch. The body keeps meticulous track of what it needs, and replaces it. There are more than 600 described species of pistol shrimp. They inhabit virtually every warm, shallow marine environment on Earth. Some live among the spines of sea urchins. Others excavate under coral heads. A handful of species have been found in estuaries, in brackish water, pressing against the edges of where a marine creature can survive. They are ancient animals, with a lineage stretching back tens of millions of years. Long before humans drew maps of the ocean, these creatures were firing their physics experiments into the dark water. Scientists still argue about the precise mechanics of what happens inside the cavitation bubble. The temperatures involved are real, the light is real, but the processes that generate them at such vanishing scales remain genuinely puzzling. A creature that evolved its weapon for the mundane purpose of catching small prey has inadvertently produced a phenomenon that challenges our understanding of thermodynamics. Which brings us to the final thing. The reframe. The pistol shrimp does not know it creates temperatures hotter than a star. It does not know it baffled World War II navies. It does not know that physicists have spent decades studying the bubble that forms and dies in its claw. It snaps because it is hungry. It snaps because it is defending its burrow. It snaps because that is what its body was shaped, over millions of years, to do. The most extreme physics event routinely produced by any living creature on Earth is a side effect. An accident of engineering, refined by evolution for the simple purpose of getting lunch. The ocean is not a quiet place. And its loudest residents are not the whales, not the dolphins. They are animals smaller than your finger, clicking away in the dark. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more incredible facts.